Hi folks, Mike Anthony here. This is going to be a demo of my card prototype that I created last year, and I'm really excited to getting into trying to iterate through options for a lot of these things, and it became very obvious to me before that trying to do this on blank card stock I started creating some stamped templates for things I had written before, but it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be changing things so much that was just craziness. So looking forward to using something like Nandeck to script up card definitions and values and stuff. And unfortunately keep track of stuff in spreadsheet. I really don't like spreadsheets, having been a programmer for over 30 years dealing with customer spreadsheets, but I don't want to program a database thing, so I need a way to at least keep track of my values for my cards, and I'll probably use some kind of software control system to keep version control at some point. So now, this being said, I may refer to myself as Meandering Mike at some point during this because I have a YouTube channel, so I apologize in advance if I do so. Now, it's going to be hard to read some of these. These are handwritten. There's some glare. I'm going to be trying to zoom in to talk about some of these cards, and I may have to like hold them up, and we'll do the best we can. All right, so at this stage of my prototype, my thought was to go to a small deck, about 55 cards, so that you can not have a ton of cards that you'll be waiting on particular cards, get it small, try to cycle through it. But there was, as stated in my vision document, my goal was to have many different options on the cards, at least card having two uses, and having different permutations of, well, what cards are you trading off against? If you give up this to use that, or this to give that. And so if I have enough multi-use card, and when I mean multi-use, I don't mean using the same card multiple times, but multiple option cards, and enough deck manipulation, deck cycling to do that stuff. So I easily am thinking of, I can grow bigger, back maybe up to 110 or whatnot. So the main goal of the game is to progress of 300 leagues on a journey and then complete a quest at the end. Now, this stage of the game, I only had one quest in mind. Later, I was like, okay, I really want some like boss monster quests. And so thought was like some of these cards here that are, monster impediments that can slow you the game. Some of them are going to be like upgraded to boss monsters for quest level. And one of them is, I mention it now, is Medusa. And I got some feedback, and it was very much appreciated how Medusa is considered a very powerful female role model, and that might want to not consider making her a villain. And so I'm pretty sure in like the quote unquote basic game of this, she'll be, a villain, but in the, advanced game, or whatever I would call it, it's like you take her out of that role and bam, she becomes one of the Greek heroine options you have as your avatar. So I very much appreciated that feedback. All right, so there will be more quests. Leagues of Progress, 300. None of this exact count baloney. You need to get 300 points, and then you're ready to try to complete your quest. Cards range from 50 leagues, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm going to zoom in here and sort of like pan through carefully. All right, so 10 league progress with a plus. This is there are ands and or cards, so you can play this for progress and you can get this benefit. Here's one that's an and. Now, some of the things early on, like this is a catch-up mechanism. If you play this card, and after you play it, you're still behind, you can play another progress card. So, you know, get a keyword, catch up. Here's a case of an or. You can use this to get progress, or you can put this impediment on another player where this limits him to being able to play 10 and 20 progress cards. Here's a fair stack of what I call hazards, which I want to get different names for. It's basically impediments from the gods, monsters, etc. So storms from Poseidon, sirens, minotaur. These are all things that you can either play leagues, or you're going to take that on the enemy that's going to stop them until they overcome this. And now I've got some envisioned enhancements to this, some way to help in my vision of trying to maintain the powerful feel, not just getting like totally stuck. Here's an example, talk about the Medusa, Colossus, Cyclops. And it's listing, you know, two different ways to overcome that. So right now they're called hazards and aid cards. And again, the naming can change. 40 league card, or you can get something on your discard board. So if you want to give up, it's a potential big problem. Like if you are stuck, this is key card. You can't play it. You go into discard pile and get something that, not your deck, the discard pile that may have gone by, that's like, oh my god, there's a remedy there for an aid to get past that hazard. And then here's plus reshuffle. So this is, you know, just more speeding through the deck. A couple of 50s, the biggest possible. It's a plus, it's a 50 with this aid, expert sailors. You know, it's like overcoming Poseidon Storm or the sirens. There's like, here's wax, you know, so you know, wax in the ears, avoid the sirens. Or in this case, I'm like saying, okay, like I'm, you know, Icarus, that was a whole different story and a different lesson learned. But in this case, you maybe have one of your Greek allies, you make some wings, he flies up and he sees past the storm and you get around, you know, Poseidon's storm. Some stealing cards, only the small 10s or 20s that have been played. And it's like, well, the 8 is a rope, dealing with overcoming the Minotaur, obviously, you know, getting your way out of the maze, or the Pegasus Golden Brides. Now, so ideally, I need to separate completely the nature of the cards that do the quests from normal hazards and slowdowns and things like that. So this is one of the things I'm going to have to iterate through a lot to figure out. Sorry if I'm rotating around too much. More. Okay, so here's an example, like, you know, thinking like a sword can defeat Medusa. Well, no. It's like, you know, my thoughts like, nah, Medusa's got to be like a major one. If she's going to be there, you need like the favor of Athena to use the mirror shield, right? So that's thinking ahead for that kind of stuff. But in this case, you could defeat the dragon teeth warriors or whatnot. And there's a couple of these, like I haven't even figured out what the rest of the value of the card would be. You know, a way to defeat the Cyclops, or you know, normally it's a burning stake in the eye, poke, poke, or some kind of ingenuity, some kind of trick or something. I don't know. So let me take a second here. So early on, as I was doing this, with my goal of like, I want to make sure you don't get stuck waiting for one particular card, multiple options, multiple choices on how to proceed, cycling through that deck, getting better chance of not getting stuck, and wanting to have all the combinations and permutations of, you know, how many of this kind of card and that kind of card and which trades off where. It's like, wow, just crazy. So I knew I needed something other than this. And so this was last year. I was working on this game for like it was like a game design challenge thing that I knew I wasn't gonna, wasn't going to finish, but I wanted to get to the point of a playable prototype. which this is. You can play this according to my current rules, which I will show you in a bit. I think I'm going to break this video down and have some links so you guys can decide which portion you want to see, so you don't have to initially watch the whole thing. If you just want to get to watching the playable prototype, you can do that, or if you want to hear the discussion, all that stuff. All right. So my biggest thoughts here were a couple of things. Is there's still a chance that needed things can be buried. You have enough, differing things that cover each other. And so one of my thoughts was genericize the game a bit, have like class A, B, C, D of something, and A1, A2 might be the two different ways, B1, B2, and like don't have to figure out all the names of what the actual lore stuff is. Just figure out like, well, how many of these do I need? What are the card frequencies? Get that done, and then reinsert the theme stuff. Okay, so that was one thought. The other thought was I am putting things on progress cards, and progress cards are banked in your tableau. That is removing cards from the pool, the potential deck as you reshuffle, and you are losing out. It says, okay, I can't do that. And that is something that had come to me last year, and I'd forgotten about it. And talking about my vision document, when was it? Wednesday? Someone asked the question, well, how do you store and keep track of the progress? And the idea was always it's there in front of you, and a card can be, stolen. There's going to be something where some big card potentially can be, forced to be discarded, like maybe one of those in the deck or something. I don't know, but it's going to be, the idea was going to be out there. And it came to me because the question is like, a push your luck element where you have cards floating out. You have progress cards that you haven't banked. And if you bank them, that's going to take research. So you have to play a card of some kind to bank it. And basically, you'll probably, I don't know, have a tracker just on a piece of paper, whatever, just to keep track of your banked leagues of progress. And if you push your luck, waiting, you could lose stuff, right? You might be waiting to time. Well, I have nothing else to do, but now I'll bank. And I was thinking like, you can have cards where I can bank all my stuff. And they might go, well, they bank theirs. And there might be cards like everyone banks. And it's like, if you play that, you're doing the other guy a favor, guy or gal. And so maybe like you're again pushing your luck, see if they'll bank everything. And new thoughts have arisen. I'll not include this here. I'll leave that for a future. There's like nuances on this. It's like, oh, this is going to make the game more fun, more flexible, more choices in this regard, and add more flavor. So that's the game as it sits. We're going to give it a play, and it's like, I know there's so much work to do, things to tweak to meet my vision, and I'm looking forward to learning the NAND deck. Not looking forward to keeping track on spreadsheets or a database or whatever, but I'll figure that out. I'm retired now. So this is a bucket list item. I'm old. I don't have a lot of energy, but this is something I've been wanting to do, and yeah, it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. So let me shut this down, and then the next video portion will be an actual playthrough.